I've got a stat for you. According to some studies, 60 to 80% of us do not follow through on our goals, especially long term. That means only 20 to 40% of us ever finish what we're trying to do. We have got to get that number up, cupcakes. Up higher to get our goals done. We have got to, but we can't. You know why? Because something's in the way. You are in your own way. Get out of your way. Move. Yes, I'm talking to you. And me too. Sometimes we are in our own way. Why do we continually derail ourselves? What can we do? I'm going to share 5 things you can do to get the junk out of your way and get moving forward onto those long-term goals. And then I'm going to give you a very interesting nuance about why people do not follow through on their intentions. Stick around to the end and you'll see what I'm talking about. My name is Aubrey Lynch, and over the last 40 years, I have worked with thousands of people, performers and non-performers, and helped them get crap out of their way and get going to making their dreams come true. I've had my share of ups and downs, my challenges, my walls, through the wall, under the wall, over the wall, around the wall. I am the wall. Yes, I've had my share of shenanigans. I have helped people get through the crap in their lives, get things out of their way, get themselves out of the way from the inside out. I really believe that through knowing ourselves and pushing ourselves and being our authentic self, we can make the things we want in our life happen. So if that sounds like you, here we go. Join me. This video is for you. The 5 things that you can do to get the crap out of your way. Recognize self-sabotage. What is self-sabotage? Sabotage is when you are doubting, you have anxiety, I'm not good enough, I'll never be good enough, it's never going to happen. That's self-sabotage. This is where self-awareness comes in. We must be aware that we have the power to derail our lives. We don't need help. We can do it ourselves, and it happens all the time. We knock the train right off the rails and find ourselves in a mess and wonder what happened. It was us. We sabotage ourselves. Have to recognize it. So you're not crazy. You're just caught in the voices in your head, and you are in your own way. If I didn't think I was good enough to dance, I would never have come to New York City. Thankfully, I didn't know that I was terrible. I wasn't terrible, but I wasn't really good, and I came anyway. It was very clear I'm really behind, and I had to work really hard. I was spastic and awkward and confused and introverted. It was just not working. And at some point during that first year, I decided I would be good enough. I could see the difference between my classmates and me. I'm looking a mess. I'll stand in the back until I can catch up, and eventually I caught up and began leading the class. It took me about 2 years of pain and self-deprecation, but I got through it because at some point I decided I was going to turn that voice off and just do the work. I pushed myself out of the way and recognized my self-sabotage. Even though I didn't know that's what it was, I had recognized that the voices against myself were not going to help. I had to be my own cheerleader. And as painful as it was, I was able to do that. You can too. You've got to be willing to look a mess, be a mess, embarrass yourself in front of people, make a fool of yourself, and you won't. You just might feel that way, but you're not a fool. Of course you're not. You're just working hard. And if you make a mistake or if you quote unquote fail, even though I don't believe in failure, you're just learning how to do something. People are just not so forgiving about that, but forget them. Do you. You have to believe that one day you won't look like an awkward pelican like I did, and you will become a virtuoso of what you do if you just put in the work and do the time and be willing to not be so good at first. How do you do that? How do you recognize your self-sabotage? You've got to first of all recognize the triggers and then ask yourself, what's causing me to feel that way? When I walk into the room, when I talk to this person, when I do this task, what is happening when I feel that way? I've been asking myself that question a long time, and I found that there are certain situations that really activate my anxiety, my perfectionism, my self-doubt, my fear of failure. I've learned to step through, but I recognize when it's going to happen and I can almost predict it. So be kind to yourself and don't judge yourself, but ask yourself, when am I feeling that feeling and what is behind it? You'll often discover it's not actually the person or the situation in front of you. It's some fear that you're bringing into your subconscious from your past. When you were rejected, hurt, or felt like you may have been publicly flogged for making a mistake. It happens, and it can really scar us. We can carry this baggage for a long time. Recognize it and own it. This is why I feel like this, and I've got a right to feel that way, because what happened was bad and scary, and I'm carrying that. I need to let that go. When you start talking to yourself like that, all of those self-sabotaging voices start to evaporate. Is it a person? Is it an environment? Is it a skill set that I feel like I'm lacking? Once you've identified all of that, you have to just remain aware. It's not going to fix the problem. It's not going to stop the trigger, but it helps you navigate how you behave. It's called emotional regulation. When that thing happens and you're activated, you're not going to knee-jerk respond the way you normally would. You're going to think about it. There's that trigger. That's what's causing it. I'm going to take a moment and focus on the work. Focus on what you know. Let your knowledge base and skill set and talent be the anchor in reality while your mind carries on until it calms down. I'm trying to go back to ballet class. It is a disaster. It is so hard to be at the bar and do the exercises and look in the mirror and know that I look horrible. It is so bad, and it's so hard to look in the mirror and not see what I saw before. And I tell myself, Aubrey, that was 30 years ago. You're not going to look like that again. You're just not. It's not going to happen. And that's okay, because that was 30 years ago. That was a 20-something-year-old body, and now you are in a different body. Now you're doing it for fun. You're not trying to go and carry the stage and in front of 2,000 people. That'd be kind of fun, actually. But you're not doing that. You're just taking class like you used to before you became a professional. And ignore what you see in the mirror. It's not good. It's not good. I'm wearing baggy clothing, so I can't look too carefully, and maybe at some point I'll get better. It's only once a week as opposed to 7 hours a day. I'm challenging all of my self-sabotaging voices, but if I didn't challenge them, I wouldn't take class, and I would be denying myself an activity I really, really enjoy and really miss. So think about that. Your voices of self-sabotage can take you off of what you're meant to do and take you off of things you enjoy. So turn them off and try to step forward. Just don't look in the mirror. Identify your limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are those invisible chains that can sometimes hold us back. I can't change. This is useless. Why am I even bothering with this? It's never gonna happen. What's the point? I don't see an end to this. There's no way this ends well. Any of that sound familiar? Sometimes it helps to write them down and look at them, and as you read them, you go, oh, that sounds kind of silly. And it does! Go, wow, I'm being so hard on myself. And that's not even really true. Do you know that? Are you a fortune teller? Have you tried? Have you turned those voices off and challenged them? Then ask yourself, who's saying this? Where are these voices coming from? And you can kind of address that voice. I hear you. I hear the insecurity. I hear the fear. I don't think it's real. Let's try this anyway. In a compassionate way. I tend to be very hard on myself, and why are you saying this to yourself? You're so mean to yourself. And then I'm being mean to myself. Be compassionate. Ask yourself, where is this coming from? It's okay to feel that way. You have a right to be scared. You've got a right to doubt, but let's keep moving forward and get some training, get some help, talk to a mentor, and try. Let's try and keep trying. And be honest about where we fall in the spectrum of ability in that particular skill or industry. Well, I used to think I couldn't, but I think I'm going to try. The I'm going to try voice, I'm going to do this, I'm going to see what I can do, I'm going to see what happens, let's give it a whirl. That's an empowering, activated voice that can move you out of, I don't think I can, why do I bother, into, I'm going to give this a go. And whatever happens, happens. And nothing else, I will learn something new. It's a real opportunity for growth. Then examine the evidence of those limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. Are you? Have you given it a try? It's never going to happen. Do you know this to be true? Why do I bother? Why are you talking to yourself like that? Right? Challenge it and find out what's true. You'll find that most of it's not true. And what's true can be sorted by getting more training and more support. And then challenge those voices with affirmations. I am going to be the best I can be. I'm going to set a high bar. I'm going to reach high, and we'll see where I land. I'm going to take this leap, and wherever I land is where I'm meant to be. If it doesn't work this time, I'm going to try it again until it works. This doesn't work. I'm sure I'll find something new. Empower yourself. Say these affirmations every time you have a negative voice. Challenge that negative self-talk with positive reaffirmations, with compassionate love and support. Rewrite your limiting beliefs and get yourself out of your own way. And then the habit becomes to empower yourself as opposed to bringing yourself down and derailing and self-sabotaging yourself. Embracing failure as a learning opportunity. Redefine failure. As I'm telling you, and I tell myself often, we're going to take failure and move it out of our vocabulary. Done with it. No more failure. Failure is often perceived as something to avoid. It is actually something to lean into because it's learning, it's growth, it's how we become better at anything. The willingness to make a mistake. Having a disappointing outcome is not a reflection on you. You are not failure, right? It's feedback for what to do next time. As I've said many times, the creation of these videos is a transparent look into me working on these things right in front of you. I am challenging one of my biggest fears, which is speaking clearly and facing a lifelong childhood stutter. You can see it's better. Of course, I cut things up and I cut out the big stuttering, and you can hear me mumble sometimes or talk too fast or slur my words. I'm working very carefully on speaking right in front of you. I've got the ADHD thing going on. I'm very, very creative, but sometimes it goes off the rails and I find myself in a state of confusion, right? If you know me, then you know that's true. If you don't, then good. And the lesson is I'm good enough, I am worth it, and I will keep trying. I might not ever get to be the perfect speaker that I want to be, but I'm going to definitely keep doing it, and I'm not going to let my challenges as a child stop me as an adult. I am challenging that fear, challenging that self-doubt, and I'm practicing speaking clearly and slowly, and I do make a lot of mistakes like that. I'm very much aware that it is a work in progress, and I'm not letting it stop me from making my dream come true, which is to spread love and light through video. This is really what I want to do. I've wanted to do it for a long time, and I cannot let my childhood anxiety, my childhood fears, the way I was treated and spoken to and teased about my voice and about speaking too fast and speaking with a stutter and a stammer, stop me from doing good work in the world, from doing this. So there you have it. Challenge that self-doubt. Get yourself out of the way. Identify the point of sabotage and recognize, like I did, my fear of speaking is things that happened 30, 40, 50 years ago. That's what gave me that fear, but that's not now. Right now, I can work on this. I've got the confidence and wisdom now to work through my fears, and you have that too. So find out what causes it, push yourself through it, and train, practice, believing that you can, really reviewing those affirmations and making sure that you are challenging that negative talk with positive stuff so that you can get on with making what you want to have happen in your life. How about that? Real talk. Build resilience through experience. Getting out of your own way really does require resilience, the capacity to get up when you fall or stumble. And the more you fail forward, the more you stumble, the more you learn, the stronger you get, the more confident you get that you're going to always recover. And it gets easier and easier. Forgive yourself for your humanity. It's not going to be perfect. It may approach perfection, but it's never going to be perfect. So be in the state of being a work in progress. Stay focused on long-term goals, break them up into small steps, celebrate your small victories, and increase your capacity to recover when things don't go well. You are not your mistakes. It's easier to put less weight on failure if you put less weight on success. It's not about success and achievement, even though we want to be a success and achieve. That's the goal. The long-term goal is to do good work that you believe in, work that you are proud of, and work that is having a positive impact on the world. If you keep your eye on that North Star while you work on these small steps and stumble through increasing your resilience on all of that, you will find yourself in the vicinity of where you want to be, if not dead bang on the bullseye of where you want to be. That's how it works. Visualize success. Do this. Put on your music, take a walk, sit by the water, go out in nature, and visualize in your mind as if it has already been made manifest the life that you want. In detail, what color, the location, what country, what language, who's around you, the kind of people. See it and believe it and use that as inspiration coming from within yourself. Do not doubt it. Do not be ashamed of it. Do not be embarrassed by it. Do not feel it's too big or too grand. There's nothing too big or too grand. There's no dream too big. You can dream. These are aspirational. They're not declarations, right? You are trying to envision the world you want to be in, see yourself there. It really does work. Long before I came to New York City, I was a kid in high school, being teased and talked about and really going through some challenges. And I saw myself in New York City. I wasn't even dancing yet. And I just, in my mind, New York City was kind of the place to be a success. I don't know why I felt that way, but I did. And lo and behold, within a year or two of graduating high school, I was in New York City, walking down the streets of Broadway. Incredible. And so to this day, I see things that are already made manifest. I saw these videos. I see the things that are happening in my life a long time ago. I did not know how, when, why, what, where, or what it would take, and I figured it out. But I kept that North Star clear, and I still do it. I'm walking outside, walking by the water, putting on my music, and I'm envisioning the life that I want. It really works if you believe it and feel it and smell it and taste it and hear it, and you can feel it, you can almost touch it. Make it real. Our minds are very powerful. If we doubt and let our perfectionism and all of those things get in the way, you begin to believe that, and then that begins to manifest. You have to really push yourself into that positive space and see and feel that light from within yourself shining the way. You can do this. You can make it happen. Visualize your success as if it's already happened. We often ask ourselves, what if it goes wrong? What if... Stop that madness. What if it all goes right? What if everything you dream happens? What if your dream comes true? Because that can happen too. Put that in the forefront of your mind and have that thought lead you and guide you, and you will find yourself there somewhere in the vicinity. I swear you will. So now for the nuance that I have discovered in my journeys and trials and tribulations is that sometimes our desire to achieve is molded by how we want others to perceive us. We want to be seen as a success. We want to be seen as an achiever. So we do things that we think make others believe that we are a success, when in fact, we're really doing things for them. We're not doing it for ourselves. And then let's say we get there, if there's no accolade for that success, if the very people that you wanted to impress and show them that you were a success are not actually celebrating your achievement, then what happens? You spend all that time doing something that you weren't really passionate about, but you want the world to believe that you're an achiever, and you've achieved something that no one's noticing. So you begin to mold your achievements off of what you think others want and desire from you or expect from you. It's very easy to do. In many cases, it's about projecting the version of yourself you want people to believe that you are, instead of focusing on the task at hand. Because ultimately, no one really cares. And if they care, they're wasting their time because they need to be worrying about themselves. I've got a lot of other videos. I suggest this one and this one. Let's try to be hopeful. I'll see you there.